Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Oxhorn and welcome to Outpost Zimonja. Outpost Zimonja is one of the most northerly settlements that you have access to, and it has one of the highest build heights of any of the settlements in the game. I believe it's the third highest, beat only by Grey Garden and Abernathy Farm. The first time I did this settlement build, I was trying to get 100 happiness, and I didn't put a lot of time and attention into thinking about how it looked, making it look and feel lived in. This is what it used to look like. This is my old Outpost Zimonja. Notice that I kept the old barricade up here because I didn't know of a way to scrap it at the time, but I figured out a way to scrap it. You just put something down near to it and then try to move it. Here, I'll show you really quickly. So we'll put this down next to it, and then hold E to move everything close to it, and notice that the barricade is gone now, and the stairs are now scrappable. And that's how I was able to get rid of this fortification out front. But yeah, as you can see, I wasn't terribly pleased with how this originally looked. I had this big shopping platform out here. Look at all these shops. It was just... It wasn't put together really well, and I was trying to get 100 happiness at the time, so I built a huge platform and just stuck shops on top of it. I didn't really understand how to make good use of this space, so I put a bunch of sleeping bags in here, just tons of sleeping bags for all the settlers. And then I built this crazy contraption with more sleeping bags. And then going on up in here, even more sleeping bags. So no decorations, no personality. I was just trying to nail that 100 happiness. But I completely redid it. And this is what I came up with, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, I made better use of the height of this settlement. When before everything was kind of crowded over in that corner, I instead built up on that hillside now that I no longer had a big marketplace over there, and then built up. Trying to make as good of use as height as possible. But out here, I wanted to maintain some open space. So this is where the barricade was previously. I removed it and pushed the entrance to the settlement out here. I used the junk wall gate, and then I used some guard stations from Thematic and Practical. These are my guards, and they are manning the guard stations here. By the way, this is a huge settlement. It's pretty FPS intensive, so I'm rocking a steady 80 FPS when I look that way, but when I look that way, it gets down to like 20 and 30, so just bear with me while I try and show off this settlement. And then I really diminished the marketplace. This is my marketplace now. I had that big platform over there, and instead I decided to have just one shop. These guys are going to specialize on a clinic, and so I built this using Thematic and Practical. Looks like my settler's having a hard time getting back there to run her shop, but looks like so we've got two different clinic workers. I'm not sure why they're not standing behind the counter, but I've got a gurney here from Evan Blossom's items. This is a nice container filled with chems and all sorts of stuff. And then I used Dino's decorations to build this shelf back here, and then just decorated it up like I normally would. Makes it look like a nice little clinic. I left these decorations over here because I really liked them. I wanted this open area to just be a loungy sort of area, and I did the same with the structure that came here. So these guys are warming their hands over a fire, grilling up meat. This lady's listening to music on the radio there. This one's just drinking some coffee. Coming up in here, this is the building that came with it, and, well, let's go around the corner first. This is just a nice little lounge. Didn't change that at all, but here I turned this into like a little inn. These beds are not used by any of my settlers. Their beds are all up in the train cars, but I wanted to have an inn, so if guests come, or maybe a provisioner comes by and needs a rest, they can stay in this little shack over here. And then down in here, I turned this into the armory. I've got ammunition stacked up in there, lots of containers and all of that jazz. Now over here, this is my farm. And if you watch my video on the old version of this settlement, you'll remember that I placed all of my carrots all over the place. I didn't have room for a legit farm because my big marketplace was right here and there was just no room for it. So scrapping that huge marketplace really opened up a lot of potential here, and I was able to build just a standard old farm. I've got a bunch of carrots down here. My settlers are farming it, And then I put the Brahmin over here. He's eating from his Brahmin trough. And I've got some water, and then I just built a fence all the way around. This is a really cool barrel. When it rains, it fills up with water. So it just rained recently, and I turned the rain off to shoot this video, and as you can see, the water is going down. I forget the name of the mod. Power water something or other, but anyway, I've got it linked to in my mod document, and it's great because when it rains, this adds water to the settlement. So it's a fun little doodad. And then over here is the rest of my water. The mod also comes with this nice water tower. I figured it's a perfect size. I didn't want anything too big. And then I used this pipe, which comes from a mod called Commonwealth Waterworks, to connect it to these water pumps that came from Wasteland Workshop. So the water is pumped from the earth, piped to this reservoir, where it's then used by the rest of the facility. Now, in my old settlement, I had these nice picnic tables that were decorated on up, and I liked them. I didn't want to lose them. So I decided to set them over here next to that pylon and a big burning barrel so that at nighttime they can come and lounge around and drink their beer and eat their meat. By the way, the pylons are a big part of this settlement. So Outpost Zimonja used to be a radio broadcasting a radio tower, because there's this tower right in the middle of the settlement. You can't scrap it, and I actually really like it, so I decided to go with it. And every single building has lots of these pylons all over the place pointing towards the sky. These not only are functional, they deliver power to all of the different units, allowing me to turn on lights and televisions and all of that, but it makes it look pointy and spiky, and I think that's a theme for this settlement. Over here is the workshop, and all I did is put out some decorations with some scrap items. Back here, I put a bunch of broken robots, and then this is the power for the entire settlement. One fusion reactor. Alright, now we need to talk about the big star, which is of course this tree house. I am experimenting with a new mod, I believe it's called Prefabs, that gives me a bunch of prefabricated structures and platforms to use, and this treehouse was one of them. I knew at the time that I wanted to build up. I also knew that I probably wanted to use scaffolding to make sort of a scaffolding city, but then I wanted something different, and so I used this treehouse platform and then built structures on top of it. Also, you'll notice that those boxcars are not the boxcars that came with Contraptions Workshop. Those are actually shipping containers that come with a completely different mod, which I have linked to in the description. It's a wonderful mod, and I'm going to show you all about it now. So I built 3 entries and exit points to this thing, because settlers tend to get clogged up when the day ends or the day begins. They all start to go to bed, and they get clogged up. So I built 3 different exits and entries. The first one is right here. This leads on up, but we're going to go to... Oh, and I have another guard station out here. I should probably talk about my defense first. So this is one guard. She's on this thematic and practical guard station. And then I built the elevated platform for my artillery cannon. Remember, this is something that I wanted to do in all of my settlements. I wanted to have an artillery cannon in every settlement so that my Minutemen have the greatest reach throughout the Commonwealth. And then I have automated turrets elsewhere. So this is an entry point right here, and I put a big stack of defense turrets on the scaffolding that's supporting the structures above. And I did the same for over here, because we get attacked from this location as well. So I have a nice line of defense on this scaffolding, and then over here I built my typical 360-degree turret tower right there, and I put it up on top of these rocks. This is slightly outside the settlement. I used Place It Everywhere to push it out, but since settlers don't interact with it, I figured that was going to be fine. And then there's the sign, Welcome to Outpost Zimonja. Griffy DW, Signs of the Commonwealth, I believe is where that came from. Anyway, so let's show off the rest of this treehouse before moving on to the rest of the settlement. Now, the cool thing about this is it does come with snap points. So I was able to put down all of these railings, all of these ladders, and settlers do climb up and down them. So it is nav meshed, and settler pathing works fine. And this leads right on up into the first platform, and I was able to build on top of it. I put a door over here. This leads on down to the first house, which is in this box car, or actually shipping container. And it's a little cramped, of course, so I decided to keep it to 4. 4 people per shipping container. A bunk bed over in the corner, and then over in this one, I've got 2 different beds. I tried to make the interior of each boxcar look a little bit different, so the layout is going to be different. And I tried to color coordinate it as well. So this one's got some blue rugs on the floor, and it's looking pretty great. Oh, also, I've got a new lamp mod installed. This is just making me so happy. You know that I complain a lot about those yellow lamps that come with Wasteland Workshop because it's the only working lamp in the game. Well, I installed a new lamp mod that gives me a bunch of new working lit lamps. I've got my torch off, and as you can see, the light is coming from these lamps, and I'll be showing those off as I get through this settlement. So moving back on up here, this is the laundry room over here. I've got a laundry machine and a washer. Here's a pre-soak bin for soaking dirty laundry, and a laundry bin, and then I've got a bunch of stacked cleaning solution and clothing over here, and of course an ironing board. Then out here, I wanted this to be a sort of relaxation hallway, so I put some seats, and then I didn't want it to be a big square. I felt that would have been boring, so I split it into 2 rooms. This room is the kitchen and food preparation, and as you can see, I'm making good use of Northland diggers and the workstations that come with that mod. I've got a settler assigned to each of this. This one came from Vaultec Workshop. He's sitting there pouring juice and drinks and stuff. I've got these fish baskets. Settlers will come on by and weigh fish. Looks like there's a little bit of a glitch going on. This guy is chopping up some food and putting it in a bowl. And this is a dishwashing station. We saw her washing dishes earlier, but she's moved on since then. I stacked up a bunch of silverware and dishes over in this corner. This is a butchery. This synth is slicing up some meat, getting ready to cook. And then we've got a working cooking stove right here with someone grilling fish on top with more decorations. In the middle, I've got a couple of working tables. Looks like this is a fish preparation unit. And right here, we've got some veggies being cut up. So there you go. That is my humble kitchen. And then moving around the corner, we've got the bathroom. And here it is. I'm using CWSS, a mod called CWSS, to give me these working showers and tubs. You can come up as the sole survivor and use them yourself, or settlers will come by during the day and use them just like chairs. I put a relaxation marker point on the ground to attract more settlers at the end of the day. I've got some sinks over here. These are Institute sinks. They work great because they don't attach to walls. And then a bunch of toilets. These toilet stalls come from Evan Blossom's items, and then the toilets come from CWSS. They are functional toilets. Settlers will come by and sit on them. So there you go. That's my little bathroom. But it's a 2-story building, and so coming out on up in here, and this is the lounge. I'm really tickled with how this lounge turned out. So I've got some books and doodads over here. There's a radio. We've got some nice, elegant artwork on the walls. And then, of course, a pool table over here. Oh, I forgot the pool cues. I'll have to put those down later. This is a really cool device. This is the workshop you use to create your cigars and cigarettes that come with the visible smoking mod. But I thought it looked so nice. He's got pipes down there and cigars and all sorts of stuff that I wanted it to work in this. It's such an elegant looking thing. And then over here, this is my living room. We've got a working holotape player. I had so much fun decorating up these little shelving units that came with Vaultec Workshop. Lots of seating around the corner. Here's the wet bar. We've got hard alcohol of every type, complete with glasses. And then a working television.
Look, here is the new Band-Aid plastic strip with new Super Stick.
Let's watch.
Better than any other bandage. The proof? Take a dry egg at room temperature. Touch the egg with any other bandage. Brand X, brand Y, brand Z. Not one sticks. But a Band-Aid plastic strip with
I'm not going to
Super
sit there and
Stick.
watch the video all day, so I'll go ahead and take that. But that, of course, is a mod called Videos of the Wasteland that makes the TV functional. And then on in here is the dining area, and I did something different. Of course, my first instinct was just to put a big, long table in the middle of the room, like a big formal dining room. But you know what? I do that at so many of my settlements. I wanted something different, and I thought, you know what? Restaurants have their eating space laid out the way they are for a reason. This way, and it's the same in cafeterias, this way friends can sit together at tables, family can sit together, people can choose more people to talk with instead of just the person directly in front of you. So I decided to put a whole bunch of tables down instead of one long table and then decorate each one. Look at all the food I put down here. I really went all out. You know, I've got all of this food from over a year of gameplay that I've cooked up sitting in my workshop that I'm not eating, so I might as well put it to good use as decorations in my settlement. We've got beer, salt shakers, vegetables, and meat. Just silverware. Everything is laid out and ready for consumption. I put a relaxation marker on the ground here so that it will attract settlers at the end of the day. And then I used these nice warm ceiling lights that came with the base game, just because I wanted a nice warm amber glow. We've got candles at each table. A few of these have nice amber glowing lamps. And then, since there are very few opportunities to do so, I wanted to make use of these really huge wall-length posters that I have access to. So since this is an extra tall wall, I covered the wall with all of these. These come from the vanilla game. And then I used these from Contraption's Workshop for the rest. I've got Mr. Pebbles, Nuka-Cola, Grey Tortoise, all over. And here's the Silver Shroud corner. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how this turned out. Nice relaxation den area, and then a wonderful dining area for dinner time. All right, coming on up, we're going to go down to the bulk of the residential. This is the red shipping container. And see, look, I've got another cool little lamp. This mod author made a whole bunch of neat lamps that look really nice. And then I used snap beds to do the beds. I talked about snap beds when I did my video on Finch Farm. It's such a great little mod that solves the problem with space in settlements. Basically, you put down a bed frame and then you simply snap a mattress to each bed. That way, bunk beds like these will count like as 2 beds instead of 1. So there's a thematic and practical bunk bed over there, and then there's a snap beds bunk bed with personal decorations. Coming on through here, we've got another one. This is a couple's bed, and it works the same way with snap beds. You snap half of the couple bed onto that side and the other half to that side. And then I just decorated it up with personal effects. And I'm pleased with how this turned out. You then come down here, and I was originally going to continue to build around in a big circle, but I ran out of space. I started to get to the edge of the settlement, so I decided to just turn right back around and build on this way. And so I built these two onto the scaffolding that was holding up the original top floor. Here's the orange box car, complete with an eating station. And here is another blue box car. And as you can see, each one is organized a little bit differently. Some of them have bunk beds only, some of them have 4 beds laid out. Here's a relaxation marker. I'm glad somebody's using it. Let's see, which one? I put down a coffee animation marker. Yeah, I put a coffee animation marker there. There's a lean animation marker. And it's frustrating because I rarely see my settlers use them. But it's good to know that they work and that the settler will come by and use them. And then coming down here leads us to the final floor of shipping containers. Each of these has different rugs and is decorated up in a unique way. Here's a nice little seating area against the wall there. More decorations on the wall. And then the final one, here's the yellow one. Right. So they each got a place to sleep. Each bed is different. They've got their own unique decorations. It's personal. It's theirs. And then coming on down there, so there you go, 3 different ways to get in and out of that maze to reduce traffic jams and congestion. Traffic jams still happen. It's not a perfect system. The settler system, I have a number of mods installed to try and alleviate the annoying settler pathing issue. I'm just grateful that settlers will walk up there. We found settlers assigned to their correct station in the kitchen, for example. So settlers do get up there, but they still get stuck, and it's just something we have to deal with. until it's fixed by clever modders. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is my Outpost Zimonja. 36 settlers, 36 beds, a whole lot of food and water generated, a shop, a small shop, and a whole lot of fun. I had a blast putting this together. Be sure to check out the description of the video where I list all of the mods that I used to achieve this. And if you like this video and you want to support me in a more personal way, consider becoming one of my patrons on Patreon. Patreon subscribers gain access to a private channel on my Discord server, as well as a bunch of other cool Oxhorn perks. But thanks for watching, everybody. I'm so glad you're here, and tune in tomorrow morning when I'll publish a brand new video. See you then, everybody.